Hello everyone! Today I will showcase a set from my Swedish friend AdamthePower in which he reaches Legend, and his first opponent is Setep, and Adam leads with Drifblim and then has Venusaur and Shadow Machamp in the back. So obviously he needs to get out of there and switches into Venusaur to hopefully get the Shadow Machamp against the Magnezone later in the game. And the opponent counter switches into Gallade. So this is amazing, because Gallade is not that good of a counter to Venusaur. Even though these Confusions are dealing a ton of damage, it's still going to be forced to use both of the shields to maintain switch advantage. And then this Gallade cannot do anything against the Drifblim when it comes to charge moves. So now Adam is in a great spot where he just hopes that the Shadow Machamp can sweep the game with 2 shields when the Gallade is gone. And the opponent has a Venusaur in the back, so this is going to be a GG. The opponent goes for doubling up on Frenzy Plants, but the Machamp outpaces it, since 2 Frenzy Plants and 1 Rock Slide plus Crush Shot takes 12 seconds each. So that's a nice first game. Next up in the second game is Naoto-chan, and she leads with a Gyarados. So this is a bad lead, but not terrible, and actually this Gyarados is lagging. So the Gyarados missed around 6 or 7 seconds of fast moves right there. So this is not a fair game actually. So Adam will be able to win the lead here, but they hit the CMP on the Crunch versus Icy Wind. So this Icy Wind is completely wasted, and the Drifblim is fairly low. So this game can still go either way, but the opponent sends in a Swampert and tries to farm down, but Drifblim has so much HP that the Mud Shots are not going to do enough damage. So the opponent is forced to throw, and then the Venusaur is lined up against Swampert, and Shadow Machamp is against Escavalier, and he still has 2 shields. So this is going to be a GG. But if the Gyarados wouldn't have lagged, then this would have been a very close game, since Shadow Machamp is good against both of the Pokemon in the backline when it has 2 shields. So then it would be very even though the Escavalier almost walls the Venusaur. But yeah, Adam got lucky. Next up is Youngju Poke4, and she leads with Togekiss, and this is a fairly neutral matchup in all even shield scenarios. So of course Drifblim will just go for straight Icy Winds, because it's super effective, and then you will debuff as many charms as possible. So then the opponent tries to catch the next Icy Wind on Kingdra, but here the counter switch is actually very tricky. Should you switch in Venusaur or Machamp against the Kingdra? Because of course you don't want the Machamp against the Togekiss, so then the Machamp would be the better switch in. But also, if your opponent has Kingdra and Togekiss in the same team, then they are very likely to have some sort of Venusaur counter also. So I guess that Adam shows that the Venusaur is not going to do much this game, and he will trust that a Machamp with energy advantage will be able to deal with the Togekiss. And here the opponent switches in Togekiss, and Adam goes straight for the Icy Wind on Drifblim. And then he's forced to shield here, and hopefully Machamp will be able to sweep what's in the back. So Adam makes one more counter and goes for the cross chop, and then the opponent switches into an Escavalier. So this is a very bad position. The Togekiss has a few HP left in the back, but it also has a charge move, so it's just able to defeat Adam. So now he's 2-1 in the set. Next up is a game against YT and YG, and the opponent leads with Shadow Dragonite, and the way that Adam likes to play this matchup is to go for the CMP every time and hopefully get both of the opponent's shields or switch advantage. So Drifblim goes for Icy Wind, and then he did shield the first one since that one is not debuffed, but then the second Dragon Claw is debuffed, so he knows that he will be able to survive it. And then the Icy Wind will either take out the Dragonite or take the last shield of the opponent. And then he switches into Shadow Machamp, and the opponent counter switches into Ampharos. So this is amazing because both of these Pokemon take 10 seconds to double up on their charge moves. So since Machamp was first in, it will be able to reach the second fast move before Ampharos. And Adam is committed that the Venusaur will be able to finish the game. And this is good because the Dragonite is in Sludge Bomb range. So all he has to do is shield once and then wait for the opponent to try to catch a Frenzy Plant, but then use the Sludge Bomb on the Dragonite and then KO the Empoleon with Frenzy Plant. And yeah, a few more Vine Whips. Next up is the gatekeeper of the legend rank, Uxnemxu, and he leads with Toxicroak, which doesn't stand a chance against Drifblim. So the opponent switches out immediately and Adam counter switches into Shadow Machamp. So here Adam does not like to shield the Machamp since it gets beaten by Toxicroak and then he would be in a shield deficit. So instead he will force the opponent to either use both of his shields or still maintain the switch advantage, and the opponent chose to avoid the Drifblim with his Toxicroak. So now Adam is up 2 shields and hopefully we'll be able to farm down here, but the Snorlax reaches the next Body Slam with 1 HP left. So now it's basically a half health Toxicroak and the opponent's last Pokemon against a 2 shielded Drifblim. And the last Pokemon is a Lapras, so Adam will go for straight Shadow Balls here and shield everything that gets thrown at him. So here Adam will just try to KO the Lapras before it reaches a 3rd Surf, which would be able to take it out. And he succeeds, and then he has a Shadow Ball ready for the Toxicroak and KOs it, and that's it for this 4-1 streak to reach Legend. Lastly, I want to mention that Adam is a streamer that streams in Swedish, so if you're interested in checking him out, he streams every evening on Fridays and Sundays, Swedish time, and I will put a link to his Twitch in the description. So congratulations Adam at hitting Legend, and thanks everyone for watching!